It was supposed to be a simple solo hiking trip. I had taken 2 days off work specifically to clear my head, and Ridgeline State Park was about an hour and 40 minutes from my apartment. I packed light, a day pack, 2 water bottles, a sandwich, and my phone. I had done this trail twice before, both times without any issues. The parking lot was nearly empty when I arrived that Saturday morning. One other car sat at the far end of the lot, a beat-up silver sedan with a cracked rear windshield. I signed the trailhead register, noted the time as 8:14 in the morning, and started walking. The first 2 miles went exactly as I remembered. Birch trees, a creek crossing, a long uphill stretch that opens onto a ridge with decent views toward the valley below. I stopped there to eat half my sandwich and drink some water. That's when I noticed the man standing at the tree line about 60 yards back down the trail, completely still, watching me. He wasn't moving at all. I figured he was catching his breath or checking a map. I packed up my sandwich, gave him a quick nod in his direction, and kept going north along the ridge. About 10 minutes later, I glanced back. He was still the same distance behind me, moving at exactly the pace I was. He had no pack that I could see, no water bottle, no poles, no hat. He was wearing dark jeans and a grey sweatshirt, which wasn't unusual, but it wasn't the kind of outfit people typically wore on a trail with loose rockin' roots. I picked up my pace a little. He picked up his pace too. My stomach went tight. I told myself he was just another hiker who happened to walk at a similar speed, and that I was reading too much into nothing. I kept that thought going for about another quarter mile before I ducked off the main trail and crouched behind a wide boulder. I waited there for almost 4 minutes, watching the trail. He walked past without slowing down, hands in his sweatshirt pocket, eyes straight ahead. He just kept walking north, like he knew exactly where he was going. I gave him a long lead before I stepped back onto the trail. I started moving south, back the way I came, figuring I'd cut the hike short and head home. About half a mile from the trailhead, the trail bends around a stand of hemlocks before dropping down to the parking lot. I came around that bend and stopped. He was standing at the bottom of the slope, leaning against a tree right at the edge of the gravel lot. He had circled back somehow, which meant he had gone off trail entirely to get ahead of me. He was facing my direction. My heart was going hard enough that I could feel it in my ears. I backed up slowly and got behind the hemlocks. I stood there trying to think. There was one alternate exit I remembered from the trail map, a fire road on the east side of the park that came out near a different road entirely. I had never taken it, but I knew roughly where it branched off. I found it. The fire road was overgrown but passable. I came out on a county road after about 20 minutes and called a friend to pick me up. When I walked back to my car the next morning with the park ranger present, the silver sedan was gone. I never heard anything after that. I still think about the way he came around that trail ahead of me. He had planned where to be. My brother Marcus and I used to go night fishing at Cotter Lake every summer. We started doing it in our early 20s because the catfish ran better after dark, and because there was something about sitting on that bank at midnight with a thermos of coffee that felt like the whole world had gone quiet. We had a spot on the south end of the lake, down a short footpath from the gravel pull-off. No lights out there, except what came off the water. We had been going for 6 years without anything unusual happening. The summer I was 28, Marcus brought a friend named Derek, who I'd met once before at a cookout. Derek was fine, quiet, kept to himself. We got there around 10 and had our lines in by 10:30. Around midnight, Derek said he had to use the bathroom and walked up toward the tree line behind us. He was gone for maybe 5 minutes. When he came back, he sat down and didn't say anything for a while, which wasn't weird because none of us were big talkers out there. Then he said, quietly, that there was someone in the woods watching us. He had seen the shape of a person standing between 2 trees, about 30 feet into the brush, just standing there without moving. Marcus shone his flashlight into the tree line. Nothing that we could see. We sat for another 10 minutes. Marcus said it was probably a deer, maybe a coyote. Derek didn't say anything. Then Marcus's flashlight caught something off to the left, right at the edge of where the beam reached. The outline of a person, standing sideways, facing away from us. Marcus held the beam on it. The shape didn't move, not at first. Then it turned, slowly, and faced us directly. The beam wasn't strong enough to show a face at that distance, just the shape of a person standing in the dark between the trees. Marcus called out, asking who was there. Nothing. He called again. The shape moved sideways into the deeper brush and disappeared. We pulled our lines in and packed up without talking much about it. On the walk back to the car, I heard footsteps in the leaves parallel to the footpath, matching our pace. I told Marcus. He heard them too. We moved faster. The footsteps moved faster. We got to the gravel pull-off and the sound stopped. We sat in the car with the engine running for a few minutes before Marcus drove us out. Derek said the shape in the woods had been watching us for at least 10 minutes before he went and got us. He said when he first saw it, he thought it was a person hanging laundry or something. That was how still it was. He said he nearly walked up to it before something made him stop. We went back the following summer, the 3 of us, daytime only. The same tree line, broad daylight. In the brush between those 2 trees Derek had pointed to, the ground was worn flat. Not from animals. The circle of compressed dirt was about the size of a person standing in place, and it faced directly out toward our old fishing spot on the bank. Marcus took a photo of it. We left after that and never fished Cotter Lake after dark again. I was trail running at Farrow Creek Preserve the fall I turned 31. I ran out there 3 mornings a week before work. The preserve covered around 400 acres and had a looped trail system that I knew well enough to run without checking my watch. That particular morning, a Tuesday, I was about 2 miles in when I came across a tent set up about 20 feet off the trail in a shallow clearing. Camping wasn't allowed in the preserve. The tent was olive green, newer looking, with the zipper partway open. A single boot sat outside it. Just one, laces undone, placed neatly upright, like someone had set it there on purpose. I kept running. At the far end of the loop, where the trail crosses a wooden bridge over the creek, I stopped to stretch. That's when I saw the tent again. The same tent, or what looked like an identical one, set up on the opposite bank, also about 20 feet from the trail. Same zipper position, and outside it, a single boot, identical, placed the same way. I stood on the bridge for a long moment. I told myself it was a different tent, that two people were camping at different points on the loop, that I was pattern matching something that wasn't there. I started running again, faster. With about a half-mile left on the loop, I passed a third clearing. The tent was there. I stopped completely this time. 3 tents, all identical, evenly spaced around the loop, each with a single boot sitting outside. I had been on this trail enough times to know these were not here the week before. I ran the last stretch hard and got to my car. I called the preserve office when I got to work and described what I'd seen. The staff member I spoke with went quiet for a second. She said they had received one other call that morning from a dog walker who reported seeing a man standing completely still beside the trail, watching her pass. She said they'd send someone to check. I went back to Farrow Creek 2 weeks later. I found the 3 clearings. The tents and the boots were gone, but in each spot, the ground was the same, pressed flat with a tight circle where someone had been standing in place, each circle facing out toward the trail, each one the same size.